equivalent resistance questions. Okay, so this is the first circuit. The first circuit has two resistance in series. The first one is 10 ohm and the second one is 20 ohm. So what is the equivalent resistance, okay, for this circuit? It's simply R total is equals to R1 plus R2. So it will just be, now the circuit will be 10 plus 20, it becomes 30. So the equivalent circuit is equals to 30 ohm. Okay, now let's see the second circuit. In the second circuit, we have two resistance formed in parallel. First one is 10 ohm and the second one is 10 ohm as well. The first one is R1 and the second one is R2. Now, what is the equivalent resistance in this circuit? Remember, when you have two resistance in parallel and the values are the same, so the equivalent resistance will be half of the value. Okay, will be half of the value. It becomes 5 ohm. Just because if the resistance is the same value. So R total is equals to 1 over R1, simply plus 1 over R2, inverse 1 of the answer. So in this case, it becomes 1 over 10 plus 1 over 10, inverse 1, and the answer becomes 2 over 10, and you inverse the answer, it becomes 10 over 2, where the value is simply 5. This is only applicable if the resistance value are same and it's in parallel. Okay, the third circuit, we have 3 resistors in parallel. The first one, it's 4 ohm. Let's say the second one is 6 ohm and the third one is 8 ohm. So what is the equivalent resistance for this question? It is the same method where let's name R1, R2 and R3. R1 for 4 ohm, R2 for 6 ohm, R3 for 8 ohm. So the resistance equivalent is 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3 and inverse 1. So it is simply 1 over 4. You just substitute the value, okay, exactly in the calculator. 1 over 4 plus 1 over 6 plus 1 over 8, inverse 1 of the answer. You will be getting 1.846. So that will be the resistance equivalent value, which is 1.846 ohm. Yeah, don't forget the unit, please. For the third diagram, okay, for the third circuit, we will be having 3 resistance. Okay, so the first one will be 15 ohm. Okay, the below one is 20 ohm, another 20 ohm, and the above one will be 15 ohm. So you can see that the 20 ohm and 20 ohm is in parallel and it's in same value. So we can assume that the value is half of the circuit, right? It's half. Just for 20 and 20, it becomes half. So when we redraw the circuit, it becomes 15. Redraw the circuit. Okay, so it becomes 15 ohm for the above one, and for the below one, it becomes 20, 20. Half of it becomes 10 ohm. So we just have to add both because it becomes a series circuit now. So the resistance equivalent is simply 15 plus 10. It becomes 25 ohm.